and welcome. This is going to be a slightly different video. I hope, by the way, the setup is okay. I'm doing something a little bit different. I just thought it'd be really nice if you could like see my face, but then also see my hands as well while I do this. But yeah, welcome. So this video is going to be a little bit different. I thought this could be a really nice opportunity for me to showcase my book, but also show its diversity in terms of how you can use it. So if you don't know already, I published a book back in 2023 with a lovely publishing team based in London, and this is my book. It's called Intuitive Drawing Journal. As you can see, I've used mine quite a bit. I use it almost as like a scrapbook, but I just wanted to talk about it in the terms of using it as a way to help with creative block, or if you're in a creative funk, which I am currently kind of in at the minute. I've used it a few times like this month just to help I've just like really struggled with trying to like draw anything. Like I've just not felt any motivation to do anything creative, and I always feel like January is a time where we are we're hibernating more. It's like the days are cold, the days are dark, so I feel like it's probably quite normal for a lot of like creative people to feel in a flunk or feeling like they don't really know what they want to do or have like any motivation to do any sort of art. And if you're not aware of the book, it's a guided journal for processing feelings and emotions through simple drawing. But in this instance, I just wanted to show how you could use it as a way of like moving forward in getting out of a creative block. Or, yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's a good way to help process your feelings and emotions anyway. But I just thought this is the best tool to use for creatives in terms of helping them move through creative block, because I feel every part of how you feel, every emotion and how you feel, it's important to still keep like drawing and still keep creating, because I feel like in some cases you can create some of your best works when you're not feeling the best. But even I this month have like really struggled just to like, yeah, get pen onto paper, and some of the techniques and prompts in this book I have used to help like pull me out of it, which has been really, really useful. And then this is kind of like the idea that came to make this video, because I think it is such a good tool and it's very diverse. And I think as well, it's can be very, very useful for people who aren't like say their primary creative practice isn't like drawing or painting. If you're like a photographer, or if you're, I can't even think of like creative things, maybe if you do woodwork, maybe if you do metalwork, things like that. So I think this book just could be very like useful for anyone and everyone. And again, people who wouldn't call themselves artists or creators, I think it's very, very useful because again, the prompts and the way that it's like laid out, it's like super accessible. And yeah, I just wanted to show, I thought we could do some examples today, and just because I'm not feeling the best today. Sorry, I'm just going to check my camera because it just says it's on low battery. Sorry about that. My phone camera cut out a little bit. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm just going to show you how I use it to help get out of like creative block, because I'm kind of feeling that at the moment. I don't have a lot of motivation to do anything, and I'm finding it really hard to push myself to even just like draw. So I've been doing lots of admin recently to help because I'm just avoiding doing anything that's like drawing at the moment. Even going into like my little studio in my garage to do like ceramics, I'm finding like really difficult to be in there. So yeah, so this video I kind of, yeah, thought of when I was in a creative block, which I came out of a little bit, and then I've kind of gone back into it. Um, so this book I created to help people process their feelings and emotions through simple drawings, and it's specifically looking at a technique called the continuous line drawing technique, which is where it's automated drawing where you draw without lifting your hand off the paper. Um, and I found this like a really good technique when I was in uni, when I was struggling with some mental health and I didn't really know what I was doing at uni. And it was such a nice way to relieve stress, anger, or on the opposite scale of things, it's a really good meditative process to kind of introduce calm and, yeah, deep breathing. It's good. I love doing the drawing using like belly breathing and different breathing techniques. Like that's really nice as well. And I thought it could be a tool for everyone to use because of the simplicity of it. The book focuses more on the process rather than the finished result. So it's more about the movement, the line work, how you're feeling, and all of that. Yeah, until the finished result, and yeah, and not the finished result. Anyway, I'm gonna get into this. So basically, the large chunk of my book is prompts, and then you've got the bit very beginning. It kind of focuses on 11 core emotions, and then you go through a whole bunch of different prompts. There are a handful of prompts that like you can do that don't have to be continuous line, because I just thought a whole book full of continuous line might be a little bit overwhelming. So there is like a few in there that you can do that you don't have to use that technique to. But as you can see, I haven't finished the book like at all, and it's obviously I've had it out for like a year in the world. And it just shows that like you just have to take your time with these things. But I hope you can see very well. I've also got some spare sheets of paper here just because I thought it would be nice to do some of the prompts outside the sketchbook, outside the book, just because some of them I've already done and I'd quite like to do them again in this video just because there's some that I really, really like. But I thought we could start off with just a, say like a gentle one. And as you can see, I've like marked pages and stuff that I like the most. So I thought we'll start off with this one. And what I'll do is I'll move my lovely little candles. Yeah, I don't even think you can see my candles. Okay, we'll read the prompt first and then I'll show you how I do it. So we're going to do a little bit of meditation work and drawing with our eyes closed. So the prompt is, drawing with your eyes closed can be a great way to connect with your body in the moment. Take 5 deep breaths, close your eyes, and draw anything that comes to mind across both of these pages. When you open your eyes, you may find that your drawing looks a little messy, but that doesn't matter. It will be charged with an expressive energy all of its own. So as you can see, that was one. I don't think I dated this one, but that is what I did. So we're going to do that again. I'm just going to put my book up in front of us. And I think for this one, I think I'm going to use a Posca pen. So I've got like dotted around us like Posca pens, and then I've got some pastels and oil pastels here because I do quite like using oil pastels and things like that. I quite like the texture. But I think for this one, I'm going to use this Posca pen, and I think you'll be able to see me do like the deep breaths, which is quite nice, and yeah, just connecting with my body. So I'm just going to take a moment just to feel a bit weird like doing this on camera, but I just thought it'd be so nice to like show people like how I use it as the author. Okay, just give me a moment and I'm going to take some deep breaths, take 5 with my eyes closed, and then I'm going to draw with my eyes closed as well. Okay, so we're just going to connect with our body a little bit. And when I was doing that, I was just letting my belly go really big, and yeah, taking really deep, big breaths is always very nice. And so what I'm thinking about, I guess I'm thinking about this year, what it is that I want from this year. I would normally do this without vocalizing my thoughts, but I just thought for the sake of this video, it'd be probably quite nice for you to hear how I'm feeling. I'm thinking a lot about like what I want. So I think the paper's moving actually. And like, yeah, where I'd like to be. I struggled quite a lot last year, and like there was a lot of challenges, and I kind of don't want those challenges to be the same as this year. I think like I worry about money quite a bit as well sometimes. Like I am in a very privileged position, but I think like being an artist has been such a struggle. And like I don't want that to repeat itself this year. I want a bit more stability, like financial stability as well, and like I'd really like to return to tattooing as well. But that gives me like loads of anxiety, and I want to be able to conquer that because I don't want to live in fear. But that's obviously quite difficult. If you followed along with the channel for like a while, you'll probably know that last year I took a year out to try focus on my mental health because it's been quite bad. And like this year, I'm really hopeful for a much better year than last year. And just, yeah, more peace, more calm. So, yeah, I hope you could see that okay. I did kind of pull the paper a little bit. That was really nice. Like, I forget how nice it is just to like sit and like breathe intentionally and just like, yeah, reconnect with like how I'm feeling at the moment and like where am I at in my mind and things like that. So yeah, this is the little drawing that I did. It's very swirly and there are lots of little very like tight knots, and I do wonder sometimes if like the tight knots were occurring when I was talking about like anxiety and like my anxiety. But this has been like quite a nice like gentle starter to what else we might do in the book, in the video, sorry. So yeah, what do you think? Again, this is all about the process. It's not about the end result. It's about just like you picking up a pen and just drawing and having like a nice time with it and just enjoying the process of it. So another one we're going to do, which I've already done here, is can you think of something that brings you joy? How could you draw out joy? How could you draw out joy? Draw something now that makes you smile. So I thought we could do like a few lighter ones and then maybe do a one that maybe focuses more on what I'm like struggling with at the moment. So one thing that makes me smile, that brings me joy, would probably be my dog Mango, who we adopted a few months ago now. She's been with us for like maybe like 3 or 4 months. Never thought I'd like feel like she has really like helped my mental health so much in terms of just like getting me out every day and like, yeah, really helping me get a bit of a routine because I love routine and it's very good for my brain. I'm dyslexic and I believe I have ADHD, but I'm on a waiting list with the NHS to get tested for that. But she routine is very good for me and very good for my brain. So she's been very good with that. Getting out and walking her every day has been so nice as well. Like being in nature, even if it's like chucking it down with rain, I'm just like, oh, when I come back, I do feel just like so much better. So I might try and draw her without lifting my hand off the paper. She's like a little black dog. So I'm just gonna use oil pastels as well because I like oil pastels. I'm not that great at drawing dogs, to be honest. It's not something that I draw often, but I might draw a couple things. And she's got, oh, I did her tail a little bit too long, but she's a little skinny thing because she's a Romanian rescue and we don't really know what she is, but she is lovely. So I might do that one, and then I might just do. We'll do another one like her sitting. She's got kind of like floppy ears. Oh, I've just I've just made her look like she's got like human feet. She's supposed to be just like sat with a waggy tail. And then she sometimes like I'll try to draw her. She like curls up sometimes, like a little ball with a little tail out, like a little sausage. Maybe I should have done a tail like outwards instead of down. Never mind. That kind of just looks like a blob. And then maybe I'll just do like her face, just like a long face. So this is all just about the process of what you're doing and just like enjoying it. And again, it's like because you're just doing it for yourself, you're not doing it for anyone else. That's quite nice. And like I think a lot of the time, and I imagine other creatives feel like this as well, when you make your passion a business, you can kind of I feel like sometimes I lose that like that connection between making art for me, because I think I'm constantly thinking like I need to make money, and like how do I make money, and it I have found that very difficult like the past year, or like year and a half, like the pressure on my creativity to like earn and make money, and it kind of has taken away the um like joy of it sometimes as well. But I feel like that's just like part of the process, and like that's how it's challenging me to find more balance in my life. And like at the minute I'm currently looking for like part-time work, and I think that would just be really helpful in terms of just like making things feel a bit more balanced for myself. They're not very good, but nice little doggies. And then we'll do one that this is one that I really like, and I like the image that I've made with it in my book. This one. So this one says, think of a situation that makes you feel anxious. How does it feel in your body? Using a thick black pen and the repeat motion technique, scribble that emotion all over this page. Now, take a pack of coloured pens or pencils and very slowly and carefully colour in all the shapes, all the spaces between the lines until you begin to feel calmer. And I love that one. And I like the image that I've made as well. So I'm going to do that again. Because again, I just think that prompt, you could be thinking about maybe what is it that's making you not want to make art. Are you just feeling really tired? So it's like you're going to be making maybe like really big swirly emotions that are really slow because of the tiredness, because we're in winter. And then you're going to be filling in like those quite big gaps with like really big blobs of color. Or are you going to do something similar to me, where I was thinking, I can't remember what like anxiety I was thinking about, but it's like really tight, like small spaces, and it's like quite hard to like fill in the gaps. Um, so we'll see what comes out of it. I think I'm gonna use maybe like a soft pastel. Um, Again, like use this book however you want. I like the idea that I don't like telling people what to do. I kind of like more giving like guidance, and then from that point, you do what feels good for you. You do what feels good in your body. I'm all for that. And like I like as well, we specifically at the back of the book we put in some blank pages so that you can have a play yourself. So if you felt like you just wanted to draw without any kind of prompt or anything like that, you could totally do that if you wanted to. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna think of what's making me feel anxious at the moment. I guess like tattooing is making me feel anxious. Um, because I feel like it's such a big part of my life, and it's like I feel a little bit like my career's on hold because of my anxiety. And it's like kind of led me. I should have stuck this paper down. I do apologize. It's kind of led me to struggle quite a lot and think about what is that I want to do in life. Do I want to be an artist? And like that thing of like I have a bit of a fear of a fear. That's how I kind of understand my anxiety. Is that like it's been a thought pattern that's like just well, I had a panic attack in 2019, and I think from that point it's kind of triggered like an anxiety within me that I've been working through ever since. And like now I'm at a point where I think like things are pretty good. Like I haven't felt like specifically anxious for quite a long time. Because I would say maybe 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020 were like very anxious years where the anxiety was very much there. And I would have moments of peace, but like I remember those years just like feeling pretty anxious on a daily basis, which like isn't very nice. And I'm now at a place where like I don't feel anxious all the time, but um, the tattooing and like this line of work seems to be a cause of my anxiety. But I'm not 100% sure why. Whether it's just like a thought pattern that's just I've not been able to kind of break, like a cycle of a thought pattern that I haven't been able to break, or if there's like something more like deeper to it. I'm just now using like coloured pastels just to colour in the shapes. So it's been an interesting journey, and like I feel like if I didn't have anxiety, I wonder if I would be like this. Would I have gone to therapy? Would I have gone through doing like my counselling courses and stuff? Because I'd still quite like to get an art therapy degree, just because that is something that really interests me. And it's like, one of the reasons why I created this book, because of the importance of creativity in like improving mental health and well-being, and like those spaces that are, that facilitate that are like really important. Um, so yeah, just like I'm 27 and I'm going to be 28 this year, so I'm like near to 30, and I don't feel particularly like scared about turning 30. I think my mindset has been like the older I get, I'm hoping the less fear I'll have, and like the less I'll care about things, because I think when you're younger, I think you care a lot about things that don't really matter. Um in like in the grand scheme of things, but obviously to you in that moment it does matter, and that's super valid. But there's just been things over the years from like my experience that like it doesn't actually like really matter, but obviously it's caused me anxiety because I've cared about it, if that makes sense. um but yeah, I wonder, like, how has your 2023 how has your 2024 been? I feel like have a lot of creatives I've spoken to have like really struggled with it. And I think as well, I've heard so many creatives say it's been such a slow year for them, and like they've really struggled with their creative career. I think as well, just like the way the world is at the minute, it is quite hard to be an artist in this climate. And I think it's that thing of like, I don't know if I want to do like workshops and things like that, which is what like a lot of artists do to get like a regular income. But it's like I don't really know what it is that I want. Um, because I enjoy doing workshops and stuff, but I don't know if I want that to be again like my main source of income, because it's like relying on like me to one, find the workshops, find the people, but then also that's like again relying on me to like generate an income. And I think just for this moment, I'd like to just not have that responsibility. I'd quite like to just work for somebody else, and so that I can just go to work, come home, and like not have to really think about like where my next lot of like money's come in, because I think that's really weighed quite like heavily on me this year. I say this year in 2024. And it's probably the reason why I've got like such a creative block as well at the moment, is because I'm finding it difficult to balance making things that I enjoy versus making things that I think will sell. Because I still feel like I don't really know like what my I've not really like ever made a product before that's like done like really really well. So um I say no, I say that's a lie. Actually, I did some takeaway mugs like over the Christmas period, and like they did quite well. So I am currently in the process of making like another batch of them. But I already feel very much like I'm not very good at I'm more of a like, I like to make like one thing that's like unique, and then like that's it. I find it hard to do like the production side of things, like just continually make like the same thing over and over again, which I kind of admire in some people, because I just like don't have the stamina within us to do it. Like I like making different things, and that makes me feel like really excited when I make like a new thing and I don't know what it's gonna look like when it comes out the kiln. So I think as well it's that thing of like, when you are in a creative block, like you're no one's gonna be like paying you or anything like that. Like you can't, if you're ill or whatever, you're not going to get sick pay. That's like the one of the downsides, I think, of being like self-employed. It's that thing of like, so because I'm feeling in a creative block, like I've got a it's like, I'm the one who's got to like find like my next lot of money and things like that. Like there isn't like a fallback, I think. And I think I'm very grateful though, because I've had like four 3-4 years that have been like pretty okay, and like I've been able to like sustain myself from this career. But I think things change and things change for a reason. So I like to hope that maybe this is just like a transition that I'm going through. But my book's been very, very helpful along the way, if I'm being completely honest. Like just having something that I can like come back to that isn't like intense, and it's just about releasing how I'm feeling. And like I think it's so important as well just to like have space to put down how you feel as well. And because I always felt like that was like anger, like I wasn't very good at expressing anger. I would just kind of like, if I felt angry, I think I would just sit with it and then let it go. But in reality, I think it's really important to like obviously sit with it if you can, but then also give it like a place to be. So whether that's like go into like a rage room, or like I like to draw really aggressively and like cry and like really release out how I feel on paper. Like I find that really helpful. Because I think it's not great to like hold it within you. I think that can probably cause like damage to yourself. But I'm enjoying this, by the way. I feel very, very calm. I like picking out the different colours and just like colouring a few pages and a few squares. I hope you can see this okay, by the way. Yeah. But yeah, I love this sort of art. I do quite like abstract art. I think it's nice and accessible. But yeah, if you ever have any questions about the book, please let me know. I'm hoping to do some art fairs this year, which I'll sell the book at and things like that, which will be really, really good. And I think as well with like art block, it's I always like advise to be just super kind to yourself as well. And like I found quite helpful so I'll try to do like a little bit of work, like even if it's just like admin, trying to get maybe like some, trying to get some promotion for my book, or like trying to get my artwork in some shops and things like that. And then I've found actually it really, really helpful to do like chores around the house and like clean the house. Because it's like I feel sometimes that when I'm in a creative slump, I find it hard to be like productive at all. And like I feel really guilty if I'm like doing like leisurely stuff. So like if I want to, I don't know, like read or whatever, I sometimes feel like I'm not allowed to do that until I've done like proper work, which is my own internal uh issues with what proper work is, and feeling like being an artist isn't a proper job. Um but I think it's so important just to like let your mind rest, and like doing things like this is so nice and this is so like relaxing, and just like giving time back to myself has been so, it's so nice. Like I love it. Like I love doing this. um and it's like I'm doing something creative, but there's just no pressure on it. There's nothing, it's all just about the process of me just enjoying being in this moment. And that is why I think my book is the best tool for creative block and finding your way around it, because it's just drawing, and you could do it with a biro, you could do it with a pencil. Like you don't need pastels and pens and stuff like that. I mean, you can if you want, it's completely up to you, but you don't need it. You could just go through this book using like a couple of biro pens. You don't need a lot. Um, because I try to do the artist's way, and it's something that I still would quite like to do. Because I feel like that is probably quite a good way to do, to help with like a creative flunk and things like that. But I just found it quite difficult. I found it quite overwhelming, like all the things that you had to do for it. But I can understand why, like they're there. And like the journaling side of things as well. Like I'm not a super big journaler. Like I am trying to make it more of my like practice of like my day to day, and I think it's really good to like get out in the morning, like all the thoughts and this like your subconscious thoughts onto paper. Like I think it can be really helpful, but I sometimes find that quite difficult, and I don't know if that's just because I'm dyslexic or what, but sometimes I don't always feel like that's super accessible for me. um but this I find very, very handy and very, very easy, because I'm not thinking about the words that I need to say, because again, like, I know it's supposed to just be like a stream of like unconsciousness or like subconsciousness that you're just writing. But even that, I think, because I think so much, I'm an overthinker. Um, I sometimes even find that like a little bit difficult. But it's something that I'm like, aiming for, and like I think I'm sure I'll get back to it and stuff. But I just like the ease and the accessibility of this, and like I'm not really thinking about much, to be honest. I'm just looking at the spaces that need to be coloured in, and I'm just colouring them in, and it's so lovely. And I've got my little palette of colours here that I'm going through, which is really nice. And this is the nice thing about the book, I feel, is that you can like I said, you do what with it whatever you want, and like you can take it outside of the book as well, which is really nice. Like I quite like the idea of like doing this specific prompt on like a massive sheet of paper, and then going in and like painting the colors and things like that, painting the block colors. I just think it's like would be so nice to do. So I even feel that like with you could use it in like classrooms and stuff as like exercises to get like the kids and stuff relaxed and ready to make art. Because again, I always feel that like when you first open like your sketchbook, that like white page can be so intimidating. That first page, I hate it, but it can be so intimidating. And like I even feel just for that, if you just take a moment to do some prompts. So I'm just looking at my phone to make sure that I've got enough space on my memory storage. Um, I quite like that idea of like, because I remember like in school doing like prompts like these where it would be like draw with your non-dominant hand, draw with your eyes closed. Um, what else was there? I don't know, maybe draw with like another part of your body, draw with like your mouth or something like that. So it's ways just to like become like loose and just like before you start maybe the more intensive work. Because if I was ever an art teacher, I would do this with my kids, students, and things like that. Ooh. I do apologise. My phone is out of battery and out of storage. Even though I've got it plugged in, I don't know what's wrong with it. So I just thought I'd finish this drawing on my other camera, which is probably better quality anyways, but it just means you won't be able to see my face. But you can see what I'm doing, which is important. So you can get this book on anywhere really, like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Waterstones, WH Smith. I found actually some stores in like Australia which have it, which is amazing. Sometimes when I'm feeling like a little bit sad, I'll like Google my book and see like where I can find it, and the furthest place I've kind of the furthest places I've found it are like America, Australia. I'd like to find it in Japan, to be honest. That would be like a dream come true. But yeah, I don't know if it's been I can't remember or not whether it's been like translated into other languages, but that would be amazing. But I always just think if you're in a creative flunk, just give yourself some space to be in that flunk. And like if you really want to, like if you're feeling really like I need to be doing something, I need to be drawing, do some of these prompts. Grab the book if you can afford it. I post some of the prompts as well on my Instagram page. So say if like you don't feel like you have the means to get the book, have a look on my Instagram page and you can use like some of the prompts on there that I just post. Because I like to post sometimes like just examples of like what's in the book to give people like an idea. And I'd quite like to at some point like make some like flashcards, like drawing flashcards that have maybe like some of the book's prompts in them, but then obviously like newer ones. I hope you can see this okay. I think I'm going to do 1 or 2 more colours and then I think I'm going to stop, and then I will end this video just because it's been quite a long one. It was quite nice, to be honest, doing like the first like 2 like shorter prompts. I think that was like really handy just to get feeling a bit more, getting a bit in the zone with it all, and just, yeah, just getting pen to paper, which I think is quite important. And that's like another thing I really like about the book, is that if you feel like you've only got like a few moments of your day, whether that's 5 minutes, you can just like flick through the book and then just do a very quick drawing. Like, it doesn't have to be like what I'm doing today, where this one's obviously quite like intense, there's like quite a lot going on. And like that's one thing that I really like about the book, that has like a bit of diversity in terms of just like how long things take. And like, because again, not a lot of people feel like they have time during the day, and like especially if you don't feel like you have time for yourself, or like if you are a creative and you've got like a full-time job and you're trying to do art on the side and you just want to have like a little bit of like time for yourself during the day, this is such a perfect little tool to use for that. And it just, as well, it's such a handy tool for just like centering yourself, like bringing yourself back if you're really feeling really anxious or really nervous about something. Just doing this little doodle and doing some breath work can really like help you like refocus your mind and your attention to like what's important. And because I think if you're like me, a bit of an overthinker sometimes, I need like moments where I just, you know, focus on my breath just to bring us back to like the here and now, because sometimes I go off and I'm like, oh, what happens if this happens, what happens if this, and I think that's probably quite a normal like thought pattern of like thinking about the worst, like, you know, worst case scenarios and things like that. But again, because of the simplicity of it, it's just so handy. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna just pop, and there we go. What do you think? I actually really like this. This has been so much fun, just having a go. I don't know if I like this more than like the original drawing as well. So yeah, if you are in a creative flunk, or if you are feeling, oh, I've got art block, you're feeling unmotivated, give this book a go and let me know what you think in the comments. It's called The Intuitive Drawing Journal, and I think I am biased because it is my book, so that's totally fine. But I think it is like the best tool to use for art block and creative drought because it's so easy and accessible. And again, it isn't about the final result, but I do love how this has turned out, and this has been so much fun. And as well, it's like if you're into abstract art, if you want to get into abstract art, this is like such a good tool to use to gently get into that. If you want to do art and you just don't know where to begin, this is also, again, another great way of like getting into art in general, or just yeah, finding your way through it. Because I sometimes feel like if you don't feel like you're creative and you're trying to find ways to be creative, sometimes following like, say, how to draw a portrait, how to draw this, can feel quite like intimidating, and it's like maybe that's just like not where you want to be. And because I know that I didn't start off like that. I'm pretty much like self-taught a lot of the time. I did go to uni for art and things like that, but they didn't really teach me like technical skills or anything like that. I learned a lot of that along the way, and just like feeling through intuition and self-expression and things like that. But like I say, this is just, I just love this book so much, and like I just want to give it as much time and space as possible, especially like on my channel. And like I want to get it into like as many people's hands as possible, just because it's such a good tool, and the responses that I've had from it have been like amazing. Like I got a really lovely response from an art therapist who said it was such a great safe tool for people to use alongside therapy, and like that's been such a goal of mine, for people to feel like they can use it as a tool alongside like therapy to help them, you know, in that kind of stage of their life. But yeah, let me know what you think of it, if you've got it. If you haven't, there are links below that can take you to Amazon, the Watkins website, who are the publishing team, as well as I'll put like Barnes and Noble and then any other international sites and stuff. I'll put that all in. But thank you so much for coming along today. Yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments, and it'd be lovely to hear any feedback, or if you'd like more of this style of video and content and stuff like that, because I do quite enjoy it. It takes me sometimes a little time to like set up and things like that, but I love it either way. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!